The following podcast has been rated R. You've been warned. Hello, and welcome to our humble little podcast. We like to call this little shindig Snippets, right here on Atlantis After Dark. Take it away, Retmus.
Hello and welcome to our humble little companion show, Atlantis After Dark Snippets. I'm Retmus, the Source Supreme, and with me today is the Ganja Gangster Sekju. How's it going, Sekju?
Hey, Retmus, I'm doing pretty good. I'm happy to be here. What do we have in store for our listeners today?
Well, I think last time we teased a little bit about some other DC games that existed outside of DC Legends. I thought we could dive into that a little bit. But before we do, let's welcome our guest. If without him, we wouldn't be here today. It's the great white buffalo and Moby Dick of Siege himself, the AB. How's it going, man?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. It's kind of weird to be a guest on my own show, but we'll see how it turns out. We'll see how it goes.
It feels kind of good though, doesn't it?
It does.
Not be steering the ship. Like you're just like, I'm just here for the ride.
Yeah, I'm just here to. I've always said traditionally I'm not a very good guest, so we'll see how this turns out today.
Well, if you want to take over, like, and
you
are a guest and you want to take over, we can absolutely. Whatever makes you comfortable, boss.
I don't have any roasts lined up for you guys today. How would I do it? I guess I could try off the top of my head, right? When he was born in the doctor, I'm sorry. When he was born,
he was born and the doctor.
When he was born and the doctor. When he was born, the doctor took one look at his face, turned him over, and said, "Look, twins, it's Retmus." I don't fucking know.
That's good. I'm scared now.
That's a good one. Hey, you better hit Sekju with a good one.
He can think about it. He can get me before the next segment.
Right?
Yeah, no pressure. No pressure. So you can build it up.
The first time he had sex, he went to a hooker. He dropped his pants. She dropped her price.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, man.
I'm telling you what, I'm going to go back through since you won't do it. I think I'm going to go back through every single episode one day when I have free time, and I'm going to just make a collection of roasts, and we're going to just air that as one episode.
All right. Well, you can. I don't have the patience for that, but feel free. And I don't know what free time you have, but okay.
I don't have much, but I can just like snip pieces here and there.
You'll just drink some more energy and stay up later.
Right.
More energy drinks.
Yeah. You've had only 4 monsters this morning. You should be itching to go.
I was up till 3:30 last night, and then woke back up at 8 this morning.
Golly. By the way, can I cuss on this show?
Sure.
I just want to make sure, because I want to try not to self-edit myself, but I have a dirty fucking mouth. So
yeah.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, I don't think we really do, but if you do, it doesn't matter.
I mean, AAD rules apply to the companion show, I would think, and you'd swear there, right? So yeah.
Well, sure.
It's all good. It's all good.
I just want to make sure, because I don't want to offend anybody or offend any other listeners. And I always bring that up before I do a show, just in case. But yeah.
Yeah, cuss away about it.
Not that I'm going to. But I never know what's going to come out of my mouth. So
gotcha.
There you go.
Well, let's just jump right into it. I know that you're not that much of a game player.
My gaming experience is DC Legends. I play Civilization.
Oh, okay.
Online here. I love Civilization. I played every iteration of Civilization. I don't like Civilization 6 much.
Do you have a favorite?
I still love 5.
5.
5 is my absolute favorite version of Civilization. 5 is alive and death to any other, right?
Well, 5 is fantastic. I was a big fan of there was this, how they used to do spin-off versions of Civilization.
Oh, yeah.
I had Civilization 2 Call to Power. That one was fantastic, but 5 definitely was the best. Agreed.
5. I've got Gods and Kings. So I've got the whole thing, right? I've got Brave New World, Gods and Kings. I love it. 5 is the greatest way.
There's just something about building a civilization and conquering the world, right? Like, either through diplomacy or with using the nuke button at the end when you get super advanced.
Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do that. I'll play on past, like, whenever the game ends, and I'll say, okay, now it's the year 2285 and I've got nukes and I'm just going to quit the game. So let's see what happens when I launch one. Kablamo! And everybody just gets pissed off. It's hilarious. And it doesn't matter because they're all just digital people, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you're so far advanced in front of them. They're just like, oh crap, he's dropping nukes. I guess we're just going to watch him drop nukes.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Some games like that you can really get into and you have a really good time doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I could play that for hours, but that's just me. So if you ever see me on Discord, you'll see the little banner, hey, AB is playing Civilization 5. It's not a joke. It's for real, folks.
Well, I thought we would dive into some of the older games.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't let me bogart your conversation, guys.
No.
That's fine.
Clearly, we like it too.
Yeah. I first wanted to start off with a game that I played in the past that I used to like. I mean, it might not have been the greatest game at the time, but I really enjoyed it. It was Justice League Task Force. It was I really wouldn't say it was based off of like the 93 comic book of the same name, but they're just using that in the title, I guess, to make it sell a little bit better. It was basically just a one-on-one fighting game that was cashing in on the Street Fighter, era. Yeah, everybody's going nuts. So it's like, oh, let's make one. And I mean, it had a roster of 6 characters, 6 good guys and 3 bad guys. And the bad guys I know were Cheetah, Despero, and Darkseid was the main boss, of course. And then the good guys were Aquaman, Batman, Flash, Superman, Green Arrow, and Wonder Woman. And what made this game a little bit different was it was released on both the Genesis and the Super Nintendo. And normally at that time, those were always the competing systems. And you had the Super Nintendo, which had a higher color palette than the Genesis did. So stuff usually looked better on the Super Nintendo than it did the Genesis. And this was the case as well. It looked a lot better. But when you got down to like the game itself, when Genesis usually lacked in that area, they would try and make up for it in other areas. And they gave the characters like 3 more super moves each than they had on the Super Nintendo version. They gave it cutscenes, like cinematic cutscenes, where on the Super Nintendo, they just reuse the same sprite character, kind of like how DC Legends does in between matches. You just see that same model standing there, talking to another model. Right. It's the same exact, in the game, but on this one, they actually did full blown artwork, kind of like on DC Legends when they load screens and we have the nice artwork. That's how they would do the cinematics on the Dreamcast. The controls were a little better on the Super Nintendo, but overall, it wasn't super great because it had choppy animation and stuff. But at the time, you were like, oh man, I can play as Superman, the Flash, Green Arrow, and you're fighting it out. And you could play against your friends. And I had the Super Nintendo and the Genesis version. And the reason I bought the Genesis version was because I had a handheld device called the Nomad, and it was a handheld Genesis. And you could stick your cartridges right in it and carry them on the go. So that's why I picked it up. Nintendo didn't have anything like that. So that's why I picked up another version of the game, even though, I mean, on a scale 1 to 10, it was probably like a 6, just barely above average. It wasn't that great, but there was nothing else out there, and you got to play as your superheroes. I mean, it was the time when Superman had the long hair down to his shoulders. You got like that version of Superman, and they did all their fancy moves, his heat beams, Batman's batarangs, Wonder Woman's lasso, all the classics. But overall, it was a fun, nostalgic time. And I mean, nowadays you can find these on emulation. You can pick them up, try them out, or even if you pick up like a Genesis and a cartridge, you could probably pick them up for like less than $20 nowadays because they're old and cheap. But check it out on YouTube. Do look around. It's just Justice League Task Force for Super Nintendo and Genesis. Give it a shot. You might enjoy it. I mean, it doesn't compare to today's games, but it was fun back in the day. So that's like my little memory lane type game that I enjoyed.
Well, and there was some other games in that era that I really liked too that weren't necessarily in the fighting genre, but there was that whole series of games that were just side scrollers where it's like, okay, you're Spider-Man and you're crawling on the ceiling of a warehouse. Or one of my favorites from the early Genesis games was that X-Men game where you used to like call assists and like a random X-Man would fly in. But of that grouping, they had a fantastic Batman Returns game that I had on Sega Genesis growing up. I don't know if any of you remember that one, but
I do.
it played out just like the movie, like all the corny stuff, like Catwoman would like roll onto the screen with her little pixels and be like, I am Catwoman, hear me roar. And Batman's like, so it was just great. And like, I love that style of game. And there were so many of them that came out back in the day, and they were all basically the same thing.
Right.
But it was just fantastic. You just walk sideways one way, you jump up a level, basically Donkey Kong, but with more tasks than dodging barrels.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, those were great 2D side scrollers. I mean, like you said, they were pretty much all the same. You just, insert other character here, and it's the same game, but it's cool because you play as the characters you like, and that's what makes it fun for you. It's that, where it's appealing to what you like so much. And I think that's the reason we still played them, even though we knew they were the same thing. I mean, well, heck, even look at it today. When you look at the games out there like DC Legends, Raid Shadow Legends,
Light, Marvel Strike Force, all those. They're all basically essentially the same thing to a certain extent.
Right. Insert your own characters, that you like,
they have battle moves. You upgrade their battle moves. You can gear them in some cases, upgrade their gear, makes them more powerful,
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to each different game. We're not saying they're all the same, but just the same type. Let's just say that
genre.
Same genre.
They all fit within a bubble, even though they all have their own unique cool things about them as well.
Right. And then what was kind of cool is like when we had, we were kind of limited back in the day with Super Nintendo and Genesis to 2D graphics. But then, when we moved on to PlayStation and Xbox, we were treated to the 3 dimensions. Ooh.
Yes.
Says now we can see things in 3D perspective. And I think there was a game you were talking about that you liked. And what was that one?
Oh, Justice League Heroes.
Yes.
I love Justice League Heroes, and honestly, I can't even remember what system I was playing it on. I just remember loving that game. And it just, again, there's that whole genre of games that came out around that time. This was the DC version. I love the DC characters, so naturally I gravitated towards it. But I think Marvel had like Ultimate Alliance or something that was a similar format. You collect heroes, you drop them into your team of 4, you walk around, everyone has characters, and you do like almost like a Gauntlet Legends kind of freestyle roaming thing where you control one character and the rest of your team does their own thing based on the artificial intelligence. And it's just fun. Like it's not a complicated game. It's not something that like a skilled gamer that like needs to know strategies or how to do the best combos in a fighting setting or whatever is going to appreciate. But if you just like the characters and want to see a story unfold and have a minimal challenge while doing it, it's a great game. It's just fun, and you build up your characters, you upgrade their powers, and eventually they become their max versions of themselves. And then you fight your way through levels. It's a good time, and I really enjoyed it when it came out.
Yes, I remember playing that as well, and I really enjoyed it. There's just something kind of like fun when you take, control your favorite superhero. And even if you're not, a game player or anything, I mean, you can just think of like when you were a child, you used to pretend you were Superman, AB, I'm sure you threw a towel around your neck and pretend you were flying one day, just like everybody else did.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of memories about doing things like that. Well, I wasn't much of a Superman guy when I was a kid. I did like Superman, right? Mm-hmm. I was more of a Wonder Woman guy, believe it or not. But we can get to that a little bit later.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I forgot what you had. Did you ask me a question?
About putting on a cape and flying around like Superman.
On a cape and flying. Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like when you were,
my train of thought.
Like I was saying, we love to be able to portray being our superheroes.
Yeah. And this is just an opportunity for you in the event of the fact that you don't have like a real doll or a figure to play with. Now you're just playing with the digital figure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what it amounts to.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then the continued evolution though of those games brought us like some really cool stuff that we've had more recently. I don't know if the rest of you played it, but DC Universe Online still is up and running, I think, at this point in time.
Yep.
It is.
I unfortunately don't own anything that it can be run on. I tried. One of my best friends from my childhood reached out to me and was like, hey, we should start playing a game together. What do you play? And I was like, DC Legends. And he's like, should I do that into it? I'm like, well, I'm about 5 years deep, and it's going to take you a lot of money and time to catch up to like play the level up again. So maybe we should try something else. And he was like, how about DC Universe Online? But unfortunately, my laptop does not have a capable graphics card to run it. So I'm stuck out, but I loved that game. And being able to create your own superhero and then take orders from Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and be like sent on missions by your favorite heroes, or like, doing those fortress raids or whatever. Just so many cool things about that game and so many great memories I have about it. Like, just I could gush about it all day, but I'll pass the microphone.
No,
continue to gush, please.
Oh yeah. Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. It's just something about, just the plain outright nostalgia.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't know how to explain it. I mean, we all want to live in a fantasy world to kind of like escape real world sometimes. And sometimes games are just such a great release for everybody. And I mean,
sure.
I can't really negatively say anything about them because they help so many people through tough times, and they help people just to have a good time. I mean, there's so many different reasons and, things that you can enjoy about them. So, I mean, games are great. I mean, pretty much.
Yeah. And I can't wait to see what comes next. I know we've got some big projects that have been delayed on the horizon, but just whatever comes next.
Yeah, Gotham Knights, it looked like they really stripped a lot away from that. I think a lot of people are going to be upset with it.
Well, isn't that Kill the Justice League, another one that's coming out? Or
yeah,
I don't know, like it's delayed but coming out still.
Yeah, who knows anymore? They should just
seeing those ads for them though. They dropped the DC fandom. We're like, freaking awesome.
they just need to put the tag "coming soon."
Yeah, coming soon from Warner Brothers Games. Coming, or maybe change it to coming eventually versus soon. That way, it's a more realistic expectation. Coming eventually. Okay, well, that could be in a year. That could be 5 years.
Right. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and do a segue into animated movies. You want to take that one, Sekju?
Yeah, I mean, we love Legends so much with all the great DC, gaming history that we just talked about. But where would we be in the gaming side without the groundbreaking DC animation series from, Batman the animated series to Superman the animated series, which became, I think what's largely one of our favorites, the Justice League and Unlimited series. Like, who didn't love that stuff?
Yeah,
I don't know. I haven't met the person yet.
To me today, still my favorite line is when Superman in the animated series, I think was close to the end. Spoiler warning, skip ahead a few minutes.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of talk, folks.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of spoiler warnings.
I'm looking forward to hearing. Oh God, if you haven't seen the Justice League animated series, you can't yell about being spoiled.
True.
Just look forward to seeing what we tell you about, because it's only been out for like 20 years.
Yeah, spoilers. Well, what the part that I loved so much was I think it was Luthor merged with Brainiac.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, and he's like beating the crap out of everybody, and then Superman couldn't take it anymore. He just looks at it and he goes, "I live in a world of cardboard," or something like that.
Oh yeah, that was against Darkseid.
That's Darkseid.
Or that's what I meant.
Darkseid. Yeah, Darkseid was
the very
beating
last.
the crap out of everybody.
Right.
And I know the exact quote you're about to drop on us. It's fantastic.
I just when I heard him just say that, it's basically he was just saying, I walk on eggshells all the time and try not to break anything, but now I can just unleash my fury on you. And then he just goes ape shit.
He goes bonkers on that motherfucker.
And I was just like, man, this is so awesome. I just keep remembering that, because he hits him and knocks him like miles away, but he flies so quick and he's there before he stops and hits him again. And
smacks him into the ground.
I was just like, this was so awesome. And
especially when you consider in the context of that series, traditionally Darkseid is portrayed as the biggest threat, and even Superman struggles against them in Superman the animated series, and in Justice League he struggles against Darkseid. So that's the first time that he truly cuts loose and just shows you that I can stand toe to toe with somebody who's supposed to be the god of all evil across the multiverse. So that's a pretty impressive showing for Superman within the Timverse, I say.
The Timverse. Considering you call it the Timverse, I always call it the Dini-verse. But
it's both to me. But I just always think either way. But Dini-verse, both. Yeah, either way. Whoever you want to refer to, as long as you're referring to the same content. But
exactly. Because there are other things they've done together, I think, in later years that were not tied to the DC animated universe.
No, you're right. Yeah, definitely. We'll talk about some more of that in a little bit. But,
we're jumping all the way around today, folks. I'm sorry. This is what happens when I join a podcast. This is why I'm not a great host.
No, he's a great guest. You shut up over there.
So AB, why don't you tell us a little bit about Justice League and Justice League Unlimited? What did you like about that series? What was so great? What made it great to you?
Everything. I mean, look, you can sit and talk about it all day long, right? The casting was top notch. I mean, bringing in Kevin Conroy to reprise his role as Batman, bringing in Marina Kennels to play Hawkgirl. Who was it that played? It wasn't Newburn, was it?
No, Tim Daly.
Tim Daly. That's right. And the artwork is just phenomenal. The animation is smooth and crisp, and the stories still hold up. I was able to watch, I didn't watch it recently, but I pull them out and watch them every couple of years or so. And the last time I watched them, probably about 6 months ago, they still held up. Everything about those shows still holds up today. I can still watch them and enjoy them on every single level. In my humble opinion, it is the definitive version of the DC universe. Just my humble opinion.
It's hard to argue that. I'm similar in that I really appreciate that series. I actually just watched it from Superman the Animated Series all the way through the end of Justice League Unlimited. Because if you recall, the final episode of Superman the Limited Series, or the animated series rather, forms the Justice League, and then that's where Justice League springs from. So I watched it the whole way through. It still holds up every single episode. The early episodes of Superman are a little bit more corny. The setting of Metropolis being set in the 40s, basically, with the animation, but having modern technology. But it was still fun, just the Batman the animated series. Again, great series. But the thing I appreciated most about Justice League and ultimately Unlimited is the fact that they worked in stories and were very, very close to their comic counterpart stories. I love the comics more than anything, more than the animation, more than the games. And the fact that they did For the Man Who Has Everything as an episode, and it's one of the best episodes of the entire series.
I was going to bring that one up too.
Yeah, and what was the only difference? I can't remember. Was Robin involved in the animated one?
No,
because I thought that's where it changed. Right, they just didn't have Robin, basically.
Right,
but other than that, it was pretty close to the comic story and how it goes. Yeah. So I really appreciate it, even though you always want to see a little bit of something different or a little twist or change on things, because you don't want to just regurgitate a story from page to screen. You want to add some things, or
well, there are cases where it goes south, and I'll bring up. Superman Red Sun is the most glaring.
Oh yes, don't even start on that one.
Fucking example of a shit show that should never have been produced. But I digress.
Have you ever seen the Superman the Red Sun motion comic though? Which
I have, and I dig it.
I love that one. Yeah, but yes, you're right. In some instances, yes, you want to beat for beat be the same thing, but a lot of times you don't. I don't want to see the exact same story told the exact same way because I know that story.
I'm okay with some deviation. What I don't like is somebody completely rewriting the entire fucking comic.
Yes.
Right. We won't talk about Red. We could talk about Red Sun all day and I'd be fucking mad as fuck about it. But
I'm just mad that they didn't do the ending, because the ending is the biggest part of Red Sun that matters.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go into it because we're not talking about Red Sun specifically, but I just hate that the ending is not the ending.
I know.
Right.
I know.
And that's one of the best.
I hate about it.
That's one of the best Elseworlds stories. So to not get that.
I know.
It makes me scared. I love DC animation, but it makes me terrified if they ever try to do the nail, that they're going to change so much that it's not going to be worth watching.
Oh,
so I don't know.
Fucking painful. Yeah. Enough of this. I apologize. See this again. I'm a terrible guest. I take us off track.
No, it's okay. We're still on topic. We're talking about DC animation.
Yeah, we're talking about DC animation, right? But no, it's funny. I was going to bring up The Man Who Has Everything and its initial predecessor in that series, which is Warworld. one of my favorite episodes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, my God, that was the episode that turned me into a Mongol fan. What a despot! What an absolutely, and it's not like Darkseid where you can find some redeeming quality about him, because in his mind, in Darkseid's mind, he really is doing it for what he believes is the greater good of the universe, to be under his control. But Mongol is just a despot.
Yeah, he just enjoys killing stuff.
He just enjoys murder. And that was such a refreshing take for me to see in an animated series, because he literally did not give a shit. He woke up today and had 2 shits left and didn't give one.
Right.
Right.
He's just kind of wandering the universe, destroying things. He's like, what's your ultimate objective here, sir? And he's like, I haven't really thought about that much. I just thought I might kill a bunch of people.
Right. So yeah, it turned me into a Mongol fan.
Cool.
But I could probably go on about some of the earlier episodes too, because some of those shouldn't be left out, just because we're talking about JLU, right? The Unlimited series, but its predecessor, Justice League, where they had the 2-part episodes, still yielded some great content. I'm talking more specifically about the episode where Jon Stewart and Hawkgirl and the Flash and oh God, who else was it? Or was it just those 3? I'm struggling to remember the name of the episode. I used to be able to tell you what it was, but they all went back and met the Justice Guild.
Oh yeah, the alternate universe.
Yeah, the alternate universe where the little kid with the warped brain. I love that episode. I can't remember what the name of the fucking episode is called. It escapes me. Anyways,
a great episode though. I know
it is a great episode. That's one of my favorite episodes, because the very end of that scene is Jon Stewart in the Watchtower with Hawkgirl, whining about, God, they were my heroes when I was a kid. And, he lost his ring. But then Hawkgirl reminds him, you have a ring. You have a power ring. You're an awesome motherfucker. And to me, like, that was the beginning of their sort of like relationship in my mind.
Yeah.
And that's what carried on in all the way through the entire rest of the show, the rest of the series, from there until Starcrossed.
Yeah.
For me, was really the pinnacle of that entire story. So if you're into that kind of thing, kids, if you're into the romance, hey, I dug it.
It was handled well for younger kids too.
It was.
Yes. It was very
it wasn't in your face, and it wasn't obnoxious. It was done tastefully.
Yeah.
There was part 1 of that was just called the Justice Guild.
That's it. The
Justice Guild. And then part 2 was where they had the Injustice Guild.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I do remember that. That it was really cool, man. I mean,
the Music Meister.
Yeah, that made everybody dance. That was so hilarious, because it was like they turned it into like a musical.
Yeah,
a musical cartoon.
They did something like Dr. Icicle was in there too, and that's something that brings up some interesting. But there's some villains in there that we haven't seen in DC Legends yet. Dr. Icicle. You brought it up earlier. Despero, Icicle Jr. Despero would be great.
Yep.
But
Despero would be a fantastic new raid boss.
Yeah, he would.
We should save this for the main podcast.
I know.
We talk about other things than DC Legends here.
I remember. What about Calabac?
Oh, well, he just needs to be a character. Yeah. Calabac needs to be added as a character with Orion, but we should save this for the podcast.
Right. I know. Well, God dang.
I remember Calabac was actually voiced by Michael Doran.
He was.
Worf. Yeah, Worf from Star Trek Next Generation. Yeah, I remember. I mean, there were so many. And
what about the Flash? Was voiced by Michael Rosenbaum.
It was, and that was another one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah,
another one was the Great Brain Robbery.
Oh, with him and he and
got
Lex
to play
Luthor.
Lex in that episode.
AB, best part of that episode when Lex Luthor pulls off his mask. He's like, at least I get to see who the Flash is under this mask. And he pulls the mask off, and he's like, I have no idea who this is.
I love that part. It's awesome. Yes. I have no idea who this is. Great episode. Great episode.
Yeah, there's so many. That
was a Dr. Fate episode too.
Oh man, yeah, so many. Like, if you are listening and you are at all interested and have never seen this show, if you have HBO Max, the whole series is on there. I'm sure there's other ways to get it. Go watch Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. You will not regret it. It is some of the best stuff that DC has made, in my opinion. And I don't think there's too many people out there that would disagree.
Nope. I can't disagree with that statement. Like I said, you asked me at the beginning, what do you like about it? Everything. I mean, it sums it up.
Yeah, and then Retmus, I think on the subject of DC animation, we're talking about stuff that's almost 20 years old. There's been some other more recent animation, but still not the newest stuff. But you had mentioned, I think it was one of the Justice League collected series. What was it the other day? I think it was Justice League Doom. You had mentioned
Doom.
Yeah. Where the adaptation of the Tower of Babel.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just love the whole concept about that. Like, Batman having the contingency plans to take out the whole entire Justice League. It's just like,
of course he's going to do that. He's Batman.
Right.
Yeah. He's always got a contingency plan.
Right. Give him enough time and he can take down anybody, and then he starts using them. But, also like the comic book, varies a lot compared to, but you always lose that when you go to a movie adaptation of a great story. It's very hard to keep that.
See, red sun.
Yeah. But I think this, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this, but I think this is one of those ones where it was good in the differences too.
Yes.
So, I was talking to you last night. I actually reread that whole story and watched Doom just to be ready to talk about this today, because I'm that committed to you, the listeners. We love you. Kisses. Anyway, so, the villains changed. The whole villain concept is completely different. So, but it works. Like in the animated sense, it works. And another thing, talking about the Dini verse or the Timverse or whatever, a lot of the voice actors reprised their roles for this animated movie. You had, the Tim Daly Superman. You had the Kevin Conroy Batman.
Yep.
You had Diane Martian Manhunter, fantastic actor. Why can't I remember his name right now?
Phil Lamar.
No.
That was
he is. But he played Mantis in the 90s. What was the name of that character? I'm dying. But he does the Martian Manhunter in the animated series.
How many of us have the internet and we're not banging it out yet?
Somebody else look it up while I'm talking. But
again, it's Carl Lumbly.
Yes, Carl Lumbly.
Carl Lumbly. Okay.
Fantastic actor, fantastic voice work. So, and again, Michael Rosenbaum as the Flash, and Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern.
Yes.
So, there's these great voice actors. It's really a great movie, but it is wildly different from the comic in terms of what the final resolution is, what the actual threat is, who the villain is, all these things. So that's what I was kind of referencing earlier when I said sometimes you want to see a story told in the same vein of that story, but with a different take on it. And that's very much what the animated movie does.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. And you're right. It hits the nail on the head without, the excess, I guess, or the.
We're just telling the exact same.
We're just telling the exact same story.
Yeah, it's not the exact same story. Like in the comics,
say it's based on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
It's right because it is race in the comics, and it's based on Tower of Babel, but it's not Tower of Babel.
Exactly.
Because otherwise they would just call it Tower of Babel. No, this is Justice League Doom.
And I mean, there's some really cool stuff about it. Like I love the opening. Like what is it? The card gang. What is it? The Royal Flush Gang? The Royal Flush Gang. It opens with them like robbing a bank essentially, or a diamond vault or whatever. I can't remember. They're getting diamonds. I know that's what they're going after. And the Justice League shows up to fight them. And just like, there's so many cool little quippy things that happen there. Like Superman being pissed off at Ace. And he's just like, oh, he sucker punched me last time. And like, just like all these like weird little funny quippy lines they have as they just very casually take out this super powered villain gang. And, it's just a good time, and it's way different than how the comic opens, which basically is Batman finding his parents' empty graves. Yeah. And like they sort of touch on that eventually animated one, but that is not a main point of the plot for the animated movie. And I mean, frankly, I don't know if you guys can remember it as well, because it's fresh in mind for me, but Batman is a way bigger jerk in the animated version than he is in the comic version.
Yeah.
In the comic version, he's like apologetic. He's like, you guys are all in grave risk. This is all my fault. He's like, oh, I needed these plans, but shit, I'm glad they're sad they fell into the wrong hands. Batman in the animated version is like, he's like, you don't have plans for each other? Well, you're a bunch of damn fools.
Right. Morons.
I mean, he has a great point. Think about it. If any, they're superpowered beings. If any of them turns evil or becomes under control of somebody else, you have to know their weaknesses to be able to stop them. Yeah. It makes complete sense. And if you didn't have any plans to do that, then You kind of are a moron. I mean,
yeah.
I
think
not
Batman
wrong.
said it in New Frontier. That was another animated film that they did a long time ago, and I think he mentioned it there. He was with Martian Manhunter. He said with the guy from Krypton, I paid $70,000 for a sliver of kryptonite. For you, all I need is a match.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Yeah, that is a great line from that. And
yes, it is.
I can't remember. Was it? I can't honestly. I'm gonna slap myself because I just watched the movie last night. But is it at the end of Doom, or did they cover this in another animated episode in a different format? This whole Batman having plans, because I can't remember if the line happens at the end of Doom or if it's in something else. But they all ask him like if he like what was the plan for him to like counter himself, and he's like, "That's easy, the Justice League."
Yeah.
And I can't remember if that was Doom or if that was at the end of something else, but I always thought that was a great Batman line. Like, yeah, I have all these plans for you, but essentially you guys existing are the plan to counter me.
Right. Yeah. I think that was Doom, if I'm not mistaken.
It's kind of hollow though when Batman has plans to just cap everybody, even if they're non-lethal. Like, yeah, you guys can control me, but unfortunately I can spring the trap on you before you'd ever know it. So yeah, it sounds good, but really it's not.
Right. One of those on paper things.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's all good in practice, Batman. But yeah, I don't know about that. Since you have all these secret plans. But in the comics, it's nice because at least Martian Manhunter's included. Like Martian Manhunter isn't even in the movie.
Right.
So like Martian Manhunter did in fact keep dossiers on all the Justice Leaguers before they came together as a team. And those dossiers were captured and used against the Justice League too. So, you know, the Martian Manhunter was at least an empathetic character to Batman in the comics.
Sure.
And you didn't really have that in the animated version. You had everybody that was basically like, yeah, fuck Batman. Let's kick him out of the league.
Right.
Whereas in the comics it was very split, and like you had Plastic Man, who was the guy that brought Batman or was brought into the league by Batman. And you know, a character that many people want in the game, but we won't get into that on this podcast.
I know.
But you had Plastic Man, who, you know, is somebody that should be loyal to the very end of Batman. And Batman is the reason he's in the league, and even he votes to kick Batman out of the league.
Right. Well, didn't he got frozen and shattered with the hammer?
Which is nothing compared to what happens to him later. Do you remember the story where they all go back in time to Atlantis and he gets turned to stone and shattered, and then he's stuck at the bottom of the ocean for 1,000 years?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's Obsidian Age. Obsidian Age, you comic lovers out there, go read parts 1 and 2 of the Justice League Obsidian Age. Poor fucking Plastic Man gets is basically found out that he's immortal, but he is immortally in pain and like in pieces at the bottom of the ocean for like 1,000 years.
I guess now we know why he's not in the game. He's stuck at the bottom of the drink.
You want depending on your continuity anyway.
Right.
You know what would happen? We'll get a silhouette sometime and it'll show a big stretchy guy and everybody will be like, yes, Plastic Man.
It'll be
elongated kid.
And they'll introduce him with Sue Dibney because now she's a thing on the Flash, I guess.
I know. Oh my God,
that's crazy. Hey, what I thought is kind of cool. I mean, it's a little bit off track, but how we were talking about like Carl Lumbly, I thought was kind of cool is, you know, he played Martian Manhunter, right? But on Supergirl, he played Martian Manhunter's father.
Yes, exactly. That I do remember that and loving that.
And I remember, I think the first time I ever saw him was in the TV show Alias. If you guys have ever seen Alias with Jennifer Garner.
So wait, you didn't watch Mantis in the 90s?
I did not.
Oh my God, you need to go watch it, Retmus.
Okay.
He was basically physically handicapped and he built a suit to help him walk again, but then ended up using it to fight crime.
I did not. I will put that on my list.
They straight cribbed the Predator theme song, and that's his theme music is the Predator music. They just straight up stole it. It's fantastic. You have to go
watch
check
it right now, Retmus.
Okay, I'll talk to you guys later.
We'll stop the whole show.
You go watch it.
And I'll be back here in a minute.
Dude, it's my fucking logo on the server right now, isn't it? I think is the Mantis face. I think it might be.
I don't know. I thought that was just your face after smoking a lot.
Because he's never seen
it. Yeah, that's a good point. Shit, I have to go check because I know it was for a while. I can't remember if I changed it recently or not.
I think it
is.
Yeah,
that is the Mantis mask on there.
I thought that's just how you looked after you smoked a bunch of bowls.
Oh well, you know, that sometimes I put on makeup and wear hats. You know, whatever.
He's actually
I'm just
3
like
dogs
Batman,
in a trench
he
coat.
uses eyeshadow anyway.
Anyway, if you guys have not seen Justice League Doom or you haven't read the comic Tower of Babel, You guys definitely need to check it out. You will not be disappointed. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, it's awesome.
All right. So let's go ahead and dive into a little bit of some more nostalgia. I always like to talk about an old DC show of the past. And I think this one is something that AB can lead the discussion on. And that is Lynda Carter's Wonder Woman.
You want me to lead a discussion on Lynda Carter?
Yes, you do. Yes, we do.
God. Oh my God. Where do I start? Right. Let me start at the very beginning. When I was a kid, when I was a really little kid, right? I'm talking like 2-3 years old. Mm-hmm. Wonder Woman was my favorite superhero of all time. I would watch the show on TV. The first season on ABC, by the way, the second and third season on CBS. I would watch that show. And every time she turned into Wonder Woman, I would spin in the middle of the living room, just like her, hoping that I would be able to put my gauntlets on and block bullets, right?
I think everybody did that. Just like the cape of Superman.
Right? I wanted the satin tights. I sang the song, the whole nine. I loved that show. It was my favorite show. Incredible Hulk was a close second, right?
Yes,
but Incredible Hulk could be some scary shit for a kid, though, right? I mean, if you saw that guy, his eyes turn green, that's not normal. You're like, oh shit, I can't watch him change. But then once he was the Hulk, he was fine, right? But it was just that transformation. Wonder Woman's transformation was never scary. It was just awesome,
right?
And
plus, she had different cool suits to fit the part that she needed to play.
Yeah. Plus, she also never seemed like she was getting angry. She just was always in control.
Yeah. No, she was always in charge, man. She was the boss, and she didn't have to let you know it.
Yeah. No Wonder Woman Amazonian rage.
Well, it's just like there was never a time that you like when she turned into Wonder Woman. At that point, you're like, okay, everything's gonna get fixed. There was never like moments of tension, like, in a Superman fight, he might get beat down a little bit and you're a little worried, like, how's this going to turn out? But he's going to win. With Lynda Carter, it was like as soon as she did the Wonder Woman thing and became Wonder Woman, you knew that they were done. She was going to lasso their asses and it was over.
They would all shoot their gun at her and they would run out of bullets. When they'd run out of bullets, they'd throw the gun at her and she'd duck out of the way.
Nobody reloaded.
Right. She'd duck out of the way. Oh my God. But no,
well, it only deflects bullets. It doesn't deflect guns.
Right. He can't get me. And then she would fix her hair and, okay, we're on. But that was the way it was. And we thought that was fucking great.
Yeah.
I did watch the pilot episode recently just to kind of refresh my memory on it a little bit. And I didn't realize Cloris Leachman was Hippolyta. And if you know anything about Cloris Leachman or you're old like me, you'll know that she was in a lot of the Mel Brooks films. She was if you watch History of the World Part 1, she's the leader of the French Revolution. She's the one who, scum of France.
Death to King Louis.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, I think Cloris Leachman was actually the mom on Lassie for a short while too, but who knows? I may be mistaken in that. Anyways, the best part about that whole pilot episode was Wonder Woman, or Diana, Princess, getting her stuff and going through the whole routine, the bullets and bracelets, right?
Yeah.
Because
the very last challenge.
The other Amazonian was doing the same thing. They had to block bullets as well. I remember that.
Right. And it struck me as odd because, and this is, adult Chris brain thinking and not, little Chris brain thinking, but it's like, I shouldn't say little Chris, young Chris. I shouldn't say little Chris. I'm not thinking of my dick here, but no. How do they get a fucking gun? No Amazon can leave the island. There's no man that touched the island. How the fuck did they get a gun?
Don't they have a direct line to the Greek gods? They just bring up Hephaestus and be like, we need this.
Fashion a 45 revolver for us. Oh, mighty wisdom.
The Hippolyta was Carol Jones.
Was it?
The woman from Addams Family.
Are you sure? Because I thought it was Cloris Leachman.
No, it's Carol Jones.
Okay, well, then I stand corrected.
You're not supposed to call him out on the show. You're supposed to let somebody do that and talk with us.
Yeah. I'd rather hear it now than hear it later in some 500 people are dinging me on Discord going, hey, do you know you're a dumbass? Yes, I know I'm a dumbass. Thank you very much.
Hey, we still like her though.
I still love Laura Cloris Leachman. Yeah, yes, she's awesome.
Absolutely.
But no, I just thought that was what was the bullets and bracelets, right? So I'm wondering how the fuck do you get a gun on that island?
That's true. That is weird. Yeah.
Right? Suspension of disbelief, right?
Right. So I have to overlook that.
Well,
right.
Well, think about it. It was during the war. Thinking how like Wonder Woman, Steve Trevor crashed there, like
right,
Wonder
Woman
movie.
There.
So,
but she had to fly him back to land on her invisible jet.
Right. So just think of it. Maybe something flew over. There's been wreckage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they are an island. Shit could float in there, and they'd be like, "What's this bang?" I don't know.
Right. Like
you just want to send stuff around loaded with ammunition, right?
My God, weapons of man's world.
Yes.
Yeah, that's more or less what it is. Like, Jeannie went on vacation up there to Florida. She brought back a souvenir, you know.
Yeah.
Look, what's this? Bang! Ouch!
You better figure out a way to block this shit. All right. No,
but in all we have these ancient gauntlets.
What about the episodes when they had like what was it? I don't know what she went by. I don't think it was Wonder Girl, but they had like the.
Oh, they had Donna Troy on there.
Yeah, it was.
Was that her name? Donna?
I really.
Well, that was the first Wonder Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think they called her Wonder Girl in the show.
No, I think they called her Donna.
Yeah, it was.
I'd have to watch the rest of the show to go back and look at it.
Yeah. Deborah Winger was the.
Deborah Winger.
Yeah, she played.
God.
Yeah, I thought she was very cute at the time.
Well, so are you and everybody else. But yeah, no, I had forgotten about that. I was actually going to go on and talk about the fact that it was actually, because it was on two different stations, it was technically two different television shows.
Actually, she was Drusilla.
She was Drusilla. Okay.
Yeah, it was Wonder Girl. She was Drusilla. She played.
Wonder Girl,
yeah.
Drusilla. Okay.
Yeah. I did look that. I just looked that up because I wanted to make sure.
Well, you can probably see how 3-year-old me would catch Drusilla and Donna and
right. Oh yeah.
The connection. But
yeah.
I'm sure that's who it was supposed to be. But
I mean, come on, this show was back in 1975 to 1979. Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, it's old, but see this is what makes these old shows great. They did not have CGI.
No,
they had to like make practical effects and try and make them believable today, which is very hard to do, especially in the late 70s. I mean, think of like the mentality and ingenuity they had to come up with to make something semi-believable to the audience. And I think it's so cool what they did with what they had to work with is kind of what makes the show kind of great. Because anybody with a laptop can sit there and learn how to make a 3D character and animate them and drop them in, like have a few people today do that. It's kind of the norm to do CGI graphics and computer stuff like the Hulk and She-Hulk, and even Darkseid and all that whole entire apocalyptic team was all CGI on, on Justice League. But to do all those shows back in the day, even when we talked about The Flash with John Wesley Shipp, I mean, they didn't have CGI in that either. It was all practical effects and stuff. And I mean, I kind of like, I don't know, there's kind of like a soft spot for that old cheesy look. You're like, oh, okay, cool. So they just had her jump off a building backwards and fall down. Then they replayed the film to make it look like she jumps on the building.
It's like on the old Spider-Man TV show in the 70s when Spider-Man was swinging his webs at the bad guys. They would just run it in reverse from the rope swinging around them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my God.
Yes. But hey, like I said,
you had to be inventive.
At the time, though, it's incredible. Like when you're seeing it for the first time, it's incredible. And you don't have to be like, nostalgic even. Like I'm, not to put the age thing in them, but I'm younger than most of the hosts on the show and everything.
What?
No.
Well, and I'll tell you, it kind of touches me because what AB was saying earlier, and I think it's really cool, is like they even ran those reruns together. So like when I was little in the 90s and I was watching Lynda Carter as Wonder Woman, they had the Incredible Hulk running with it. So you're still getting to see those same lineups together. And Incredible Hulk is my jam. Like that was one of my favorite all-time things. I must have watched the TV movie, The Trial of the Incredible Hulk,
with Daredevil
at least 100 times. Yeah, right? With Daredevil. Kingpin. Like, I'd say that I watched the one with Thor more, but that was terrible. And then the death of the Incredible Hulk, couldn't do that one because the Hulk can't die from falling out of a helicopter. That's just fucking stupid. But anyway, back to Wonder Woman. It was great.
Right, back to Wonder Woman. This is DC, right?
And like, how long was Superman the movie out before I was born? And then I didn't see it till I was like, I don't know, 4 or 5, and it's still my favorite movie of all time. And it used practical effects and everything, and just, there is something nostalgic about that. But at the same time, it's so cool with what they can do with modern CGI. Like when Henry Cavill is just heat visioning the shit out of Steppenwolf in Justice League, you're just like, damn, like it's cool what they can do.
Maybe the sheet came out of him.
But the sheet came out of him, blood, all kinds of sheet came out of him. I don't know. It was crazy. But point being, I do see what you're saying about the nostalgia side. Sure. Oh, it's so cool to go back and see that. But when you're young, you don't have that critical eye.
Right.
Like if you show your 4 or 5-year-old kid the Superman movies or the Tim Burton Batman movies, they don't know that they're dated or that the effects aren't like real. Like they're still going to believe that Christopher Reeve is flying through the sky or that, Wonder Woman is blocking bullets with her gauntlets. And I think that's where the real magic is. My son doesn't even pay attention to that stuff. He's not as into superheroes as I wish he was.
Right.
He's not. But I'll still throw it on in the background, and he'll occasionally still be enamored watching like the old Star Wars movies, or again when I'm binging like an old series, which sounds like I'm going to need to do with Wonder Woman because I do remember it, but not as vividly as you guys.
Right.
But it's just nice to have those things available to watch them, and even if you're seeing them for the first time as an adult, and you just kind of suspend your skeptical
and disbelief, right?
Your skepticism, at least. Just go in with an open mind and try to appreciate it for the time that it was made, and you'll still really enjoy what you're watching.
Yeah.
And what I think is kind of crazy. I mean, Lynda Carter, she was, I think, Miss World back before she was Wonder Woman. She was like Crown Miss World or something, or Miss USA. Miss USA in 1972 I think is what it was.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay. And wow. I mean, you look at her, just come on. Wow.
Yeah. She's a smoke show for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I'm kind of like, yeah.
He's a 10. Even today. Even now.
Yeah. Describe these feelings on the air.
It's
are we gonna go there?
It's kind of hard. I mean, hey, look at her. She just had a cameo in the newest Wonder Woman.
She's still gorgeous.
She's 70 years old.
Still
and
gorgeous.
Still looks great.
Yeah,
I know.
She was captivating eyes. I think
she was in
her best features.
She was in Supergirl too.
Yeah, she was. She was the president, wasn't she?
Yeah. And she's 70 years old, but man, she's still pretty daggone hot, which kind of makes me think a little bit as well as like Lindsay Wagner. She's like 73 and she was the Bionic Woman about the same time as Wonder Woman came out, right? So she's 73. And at 73, she still looks pretty daggone good too.
Wow, I haven't seen. Maybe I should go back and look.
Yeah. But anyway, getting a little off topic
now
there.
Now we're really off topic.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it sounds like I have to do some binge watching of some classics here because I'm definitely behind on my Wonder Woman. I have seen it, but I don't remember it as well, and I do want to remember it better because I love all my DC stuff. It is a really good
watch.
It is.
I really enjoyed it. Rewatching the pilot episode this last go around, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So
I'd highly recommend it.
Yep. But I mean, there's so much great content out there. We could never cover it all in one sitting of snippets.
Oh no!
Maybe we can get AB back for a future episode, even though he doesn't like being a guest. I thought he did pretty good. What do you think, Radmus?
Oh, definitely. He was adequate.
Oh, thanks, guys. Adequacy is what I strive for.
One thing I did want to touch on real quick was. I believe this was before Wonder Woman, Lynda Carter's Wonder Woman started. There was an actual Wonder Woman movie. And I remember watching it. It had Kathy Lee Crosby as Wonder Woman. And it was really different.
She didn't have the outfit or anything. She had like a onesie on, didn't she?
Well, wasn't she blonde or something?
Yeah, and she had like a zip up vest type shirt that she wore. I remember seeing it. I haven't seen it probably in 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
But I do remember seeing it. And I think that was before the Lynda Carter TV series came out.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of like when they did the older movies, kind of like when they did the old Captain America or Doctor Strange, all those old type movies that everybody doesn't know they existed. But if you guys ever get a chance, check it out because it's interesting. It's really interesting. But anyway, I think we did cover a lot of ground today. But we'll definitely have to save some for next time. I mean, we've got so much, like Secchu said, that we can cover. I'm thinking maybe we'll do a Batman 66 episode soon and have the old Biff on here because I'm sure he'll be ecstatic to do that episode.
Gonna learn a lot about King Tut.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Right on.
So I'm going to go ahead and segue over to AB to help close us out.
Oh, you want me to close you out?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So what do you have to say?
You're the best closer in the business.
What do you got to say about the WAD store?
What do I have to say about it? Buy stuff.
Yeah. Buy stuff.
My merch.
That's it.
Buy stuff.
You don't get this great, fantastic, entertainment without a cost. It's our cost and we're doing it all. Well, AB's doing it all out of his pocket. And we're investing all of our time to, help enlighten your day, for an hour or two. So, help support the show if you like it. Go to the store.
I always said I would never monetize the show, and that's true. I'll never monetize this show. I'll never make you listen to an ad, a real ad. But if you feel like helping out, please donate to the store and get yourself a good rag.
Plus, again, awesome. those shirts are comfy as fuck. I'm just saying,
they are, man.
So let's hear a not ad but ad for the Atlantis After Dark store.
A not ad?
Yeah. So show us the proper way to do an ad. Come on, give us an ad.
All right. We want to thank you guys for listening to us today. Get on our website, atlantisafterdark.com, and be sure to swing by the merch store where you can buy your very own AB shirt, your very own Retmus shirt, your very own Secju shirt. Heck, buy all three and wear them at the same time. You have that option. You have that right. atlantisafterdark.com. Get there. We love you. How's that?
That was beautiful.
That was great.
Beautiful.
All right, you got anything you have to say, Secju, before we wrap it up?
No. Just thanks everyone for joining us for this episode and for always humoring us and saying the kind things you do in our Discord server. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
And I just want to shout out there and thank everybody for joining us for another episode of WAD Snippets, and hope to join you again soon.
Later.